YouTube, what's going on, guys? Today I thought I'd hop on here and give you guys my ultimate guide to making the most money possible in Escape from Tarkov. With the fresh wipe happening, the Twitch drops happening, there's a lot more exposure, a lot more attention on Escape from Tarkov. I figured now would be a really good time to hop on here and talk money. And be sure you guys are sticking around towards the middle, and towards the end of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my go-to budget builds so far this wipe, giving you guys the full breakdown on those builds, as well as showing you guys some items on the flea market that you guys need to keep your eye out for that are selling for an absurd amount of money right now. Regardless of whether you're an old EFT vet or if you're a young buck hopping on Tarkov for the first time, there's going to be tips and conversations throughout this video that'll help you guys make money regardless of when you started playing. Step number one, extract camp as much as you can. Totally trolling. Don't be a bag. The real step number one, utilize your scav runs. Scav runs are really important in making money early wipe in EFT. They essentially give you a free loadout. There's not a whole lot of risk involved. It's a really good way to learn some of these new maps, learn some new gun mechanics. And a lot of times you spawn a little bit later in the raid, so some of the PMCs are dead and you can kind of just run around and get some high value loot. There's a couple different ways you can play scav runs. You can play it really ratty, avoid combat, steer away from gunshot, and pretty much just really focus on getting out with high value floor loot. Or you could be a full sin scav if you get a gun like a Mosin or a gun you feel like you're comfortable with. Push any gunshots you hear, kill your fellow scavs, and just look to get out with other players' gear. All it takes is that one scav Mosin bullet right to the head of a fully geared PMC, and you're vibing. Also, scavs can be a really good way to do some of your quests. A lot of the quests in Escape from Tarkov require you to find items in raid. As a scav, if you found that said item in a raid and you extract, you can still use that towards your quest. So say you have the bad habit task from mechanic where you need to find certain cigarettes. If you find those cigarettes in raid as a scav, it'll still count if you extract out. My second tip to help you guys make a lot of money in EFT is questing. Questing is another really good way to make money early wipe in EFT. And again, also another really good way to learn some of these maps. Along the way, as you do these quests, you're going to get some really good gear, you're going to make some money, and you're going to level these traders. I mean, who doesn't want to run around Shoreline wearing blueberry armor and killing some scavs? Or running around looking for 15 cans of that delicious Tushanka. Bottom line, if you need some money, questing's a really good way to get a little bit of extra gear and make a little money. Next up, and probably the most important, is utilizing your budget builds. If you guys are hurting in money, this tip will instantly help you guys turn that around. What I mean when I say budget build is instead of spending a ton of money on armor, helmets, guns, attachments, instead look to build a kit that you're comfortable with, a kit that you know you can perform with, but for the smallest cost possible. Because at the end of the day, we are playing EFT and there's only so much you can control. You're gonna get one tapped, you're gonna die to scavs, hell, you may even die to your own teammate. So at least with these budget builds, if you do die, as long as you're still effective with what you're bringing in, you're not gonna lose near as much money. And then once you get to a point financially where you feel like you're a little bit more flexible, then you can start going for some of those cool attachments, some of the expensive guns, good armor, good helmets. Some of my favorite budget guns to use are the AKs, the Hunter, the SKS, and the Mosin. Some of the main ones I've been focusing on this wipe are the SKS and the 7.62 AKs. Mainly because Battlestate Games thought it would be a great idea to give everyone a load of 7.62 BP ammo, which if you didn't know is the best 7.62 by 39 bullet in the game. And everyone's getting a ton of it, even little Timmy, if you just go redeem your New Year's pack on EFT's website. But the main thing you want to focus on when you're running these budget builds is, like I said, spending as little money as you can, but focus mainly on what ammo you're using. There's so many people that run around with these super expensive guns. They spend a lot of money on attachments, but they're running around using the ammo in the game. You could go buy the most expensive M4 on the market, kit it out to a T, but run M855 ammo and you're not going to be killing anybody. Whereas if you just go buy an SKS off the market, throw a sight on it, and use BP rounds, you can kill some of the most geared players in the game. So make sure you guys are really focusing on what ammo you're using. All right, so let's get in here and break down some of these budget builds. First up, let's do the SKS. SKS is really simple for me. For me, I like to go in here and get a dovetail mount. Actually, they're going for 20K right now. It's kind of crazy, but dovetail mount. We'll slap the dovetail on here, link search that, and buy a sight. This is a really good build if you want to run a map like Woods or any kind of open map with a little bit of range. I like to buy the first one. These are actually, some of these are different. The 1M21, I think, is one I tried not too long ago, and it is absolute garbage. Don't recommend it at all. I like the first one, just the regular PSO one. Throw this on here, and I run a lot of solo raids, so I definitely prioritize suppressors. I will spend a little bit of extra money if to keep my gun suppressed. For the SKS, you just want to get the Hexagon SKS suppressor, 34K. And that's it. And like I said, you want to run BP ammo with that. I also like to, I think I had a couple in here somewhere. I like to use the 20 round mags with them. You can, you know, spend a little bit of extra money there if you have the room for it. Next up, the Mosin, also super simple and easy. Link search. You want to get the, I'm gonna call it the old Crotchetob mount for the Mosin. $1,000. Link search that. Get you a PU 3.5 times ring mount, 1200. And from there, link search that, and we will buy sight, 3.5 times rifle scope. And again, I like my suppressors, so we're going to link search that barrel and buy the Bramit, which is the suppressor for the Mosin. 38k, but definitely worth. Okay, you rats, please let me buy one. Please let me buy one. You f***ing rats. Thank you. And there's it for your Mosin. And again, the SKS loaded with BP. The Mosin, you can get a little bit more creative with, depending on what you have. LPS, SMB, 7-in-1 if you want to go that high with it. The Hunter's kind of the same story. I mean, there's definitely a reoccurring theme with these guns. And you can go even cheaper. If you don't care about being suppressed, you can definitely go a little bit cheaper. I like to be suppressed, obviously. Now for the Hunter, I actually do mix it up a little bit just because the Mosin and the SKS I have range with. For the Hunter, I like to buy this OKP7. Make sure it's the one that's got like the side rail, not flattened out. The other one is a nipple sight, and it doesn't look good at all. This sight's actually really clean, really clean. This is one of my favorite sights in the game. Highly recommend this for definitely the Hunter. And then, like I said, similar story. I like to suppress my guns, so we're gonna get the Rotor 43 muzzle brake for the VPO. It's 50k for this one, but definitely worth. And then for the Hunter, right now right now I'm running a lot of M80, but I'm not buying the M80. M80's going for a load right now. I'll usually just get some M80 and raid. And when I look up and I see I have a lot of 7.62x51, I got a lot of M80 or whatever. That's when I'll make me a little Hunter build. That's a really good gun, man. That shoots one of the best bullets in the game. And now, last but not least, let's do the AKM. This kind of goes for any of the 7.62 AKs. Depending on where you're at financially, this can go several different ways for you. You can upgrade this a little bit further than what I'm fixing to show you. I'll upgrade mine a little bit further than what I'm about to show you. But what I'm about to show you is a really cheap and effective way to run the AKM. With these AKs, a lot of time the recoil is pretty ridiculous. So for the most part, when you're running these AKs, especially with 7.62, a lot of times you're just going to be tap firing. So there's no sense in like going crazy on attachments early for these AKMs, because a lot of time you're not even going to be really full auto in the gun unless it's point blank. So what we'll do is we'll strip it of its handguard. We're definitely going to get a different handguard. We're definitely going to suppress it, so we'll pull that off. We'll get a better pistol grip, better sight. Take that off. Pretty much strip it all the way down to its bare minimum. I will keep the stock for this particular build. Yeah, level 2 proper gives you a butt pad that we're going to put on that stock. He also has the PP 1901 pistol grip, which gives you +7 erg for only 980 rubles. We're going to cop that as well. And then next up, he has the AK 100 series foregrip for 1400 rubles. And we're going to cop that as well. This particular hand grip allows you to have both a foregrip and a tactical, and you don't have to buy any extra mounts. So what we're going to do from there, let's go attach our stuff. Got a butt pad on the back. There's our hand guard and our pistol grip. Okay, and then from there, this is where you can probably hold off a little bit if you want to. I'm going to go buy a Bastion from Skier. A little bit more expensive, 6,000. This is going to allow me to attach any kind of sight I want. And let's go get our suppressor. Probably just going to run the hexagon suppressor. And then from there, we can go get us a grip, link search our handguard. And because I have Skier level 2, he offers the RK4 for only 9,000 rubles. The RK4 is definitely a really solid grip, especially for a quote-unquote budget build for only 9,000 rubles. And last but not least, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to go get me a flashlight laser combo. I'm just going to rock probably the X400 here. 10,000 gives me a light and a laser. And I'm going to wrap it up with a sight. I do actually prefer the PK06, but the PK is going for 40k right now. So we're actually going to go with a little bit cheaper sight. We're actually just going to throw the MRS on there for half the price. And there you go. That's a pretty solid budget AK build. Didn't cost me too much. The most expensive item we bought there was the suppressor for what, like 37, 38k. Everything else we got from vendors for relatively cheap. The last tip I have for you guys, and is another really important one, is learning the flea market. As the wipe goes on, prices are constantly changing on the flea market on several different items. A lot of times quest items go for a lot more than you would think, and try your best to keep in mind what items are going for a lot on the flea market. So instead of hopping out of a raid and instantly selling everything to traders, make sure you guys are filtering by item, and some of the items you have aren't going for an absurd amount. So once you guys learn what items are going for a lot, like those quest items or those hideout items, Not only will you start to make a lot more money when you're outside of your raid selling items, but when you go into raids, you're going to know what to look for to make the most money possible. All right, let's dive into this flea market a little bit. I'm going to be showing you guys some items that right now are quest items or hideout items or items that for whatever reason are selling for a lot on the flea market. This right here is an MP133 shotgun 4-stock that is selling for 90,000 ruble, 100,000 rubles. It's just a basic plastic 4-stock for the MP133, and it's selling for so much because of the quest. There's a quest to kit out an MP133 shotgun, and this is one of the parts you need. As you can see, Jaeger level 2 sells it for 9,500 rubles. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for this item in game. Another item going for a lot right now is the B11 AKS 74U handguard. This is another attachment for one of those mechanic build-a-gun quests, and this thing's going for, it looks like it's going down a little bit, but this one's going for over 40,000 rubles. And another one is the car battery. This one's a part of a quest and some hideout stuff. If you guys have already done the quest or you're not too worried about questing or hideout stuff, this thing is going for over 260,000 rubles, which is absolutely absurd. So you guys definitely be keeping out on a car battery. This price will probably drop over time, but right now this is definitely a hot item on the flea market. And then another one we have is the Remington Tactical Choke 12 gauge. This is a choke for another one of those build-a-gun quests. Bro, this thing is going for over 190,000 rubles. This thing is a lab's key card sitting around, bro. I've actually found 2 or 3 of these in raids, so guys, definitely be looking out for the Remington Tactical Choke. 200,000 rubles for this thing, bro. Just a few more. Insulating tape. The blue tape's going for 20k. This price has dropped a little bit, so look for that to go down, but definitely right now be picking up tape. 20k a slot. Cans of herring are going for over 30,000 rubles. Definitely a food item to keep your eye on. And corrugated hoses are a big one right now. These things are going for over 80,000 rubles. These things are pretty common too. You can find these things kind of all over the place. I think you guys get the point, man. Learn the flea market. There is a lot of items that sell for a lot more on the flea market. Just be sure before you sell something to a trader, filter by item, check the flea market, make sure it's not going for an absurd price. Once you guys learn to utilize some of these tips, you're going to instantly see the amount of money you're making in Tarkov skyrocket. Play smart, utilize your scav runs, do your questing, learn your budget builds, and learn that flea market. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate you guys dropping me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what EFT content you guys want to see in the future. And if you guys really enjoy my content, want to follow me even further, I've got all my links in my description. We've got over 60,000 followers on TikTok, and I would really love to see some of your beautiful faces come stop by the Twitch stream. I'm really enjoying EFT at the moment. I'm going to have a lot of future content for Tarkov. Every time there's a wipe or anytime I'm away from this game for a little bit and I hop back in, I immediately get sucked right back in. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Be sure you guys are subbed to the YouTube channel and you have your notifications on. I'm going to be posting EFT videos every single Friday. We're fixing to take over Tarkov YouTube, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Godspeed, boys.